Hey everybody, it's Tuesday.
And welcome to the first of this week's edition of the Night Bite. After how many weeks have we done this? And I'm still messing that up. I'm Emily, and we should be practicing this or something. I don't know. I'm kidding. We've been doing this. We've been doing this a while.
Hey Matt.
But I don't know, I guess normally come to you live just on Thursdays. But for these past few months leading up to the Wisconsin Fishing Expo, we have been coming to 2 different times in the week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. It has been a whole bunch of fun to hang out with everybody at home. And it has been super cool to hang out with all the different vendors and people and things and stuff that we are going to be seeing at the expo as well.
Yeah, this is our 40th episode for this season. So It is. This is our 40th episode for the whole year of 24. And
okay.
so
I thought you were teasing me.
No, I'm not. And we only have, let me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes left until the Wisconsin Fishing Expo.
Okay. Well, that's true. There is an optional, maybe a 7. It depends on where we're traveling on the 12th before the expo. It depends. Yeah. So we're going to see what happens that week. If you guys want a podcast that week, that Thursday, right before the expo, let us know. Let us know what you're interested in. Let us know who you want to talk to. We don't actually have anything specifically
Nothing planned that Thursday before. So
well, because we didn't know we would be in transit. Yeah. So let us know.
Hey, Andrew.
Before we get ahead of ourselves, though, we do always start with a fishing report. And the funny thing is that we are still fishing. A little bit before this episode, we were talking about how sometimes at this point in the year, we are waiting for ice. Like we are watching shorelines freeze over, like all this different stuff. And we are not there yet.
We are not. We haven't even busted a little bit of ice off of the landing, which...
Even once.
It's not. It's sad. It's sad. But we still have the boat out. We're still planning on keeping that going until until we're like busting up the landing too much that we want to get out there and ice fish. So we'll keep it going and keep rolling. This last weekend was actually kind of a fun bite in my opinion. It was a little slow, but I think we learned something though, and I think that's what makes fishing fun is when you can go out there and you caught we caught some fish, but we learned something.
What did you learn?
Well, I learned I learned
fish in the wind.
No, I learned on this particular body of water we've always had kind of a rough time. That in this kind of a fishing style, right? The transition period between the shallow and deep water and that mid depth stuff has always been kind of a challenge on this lake. And sometimes like you hit those fish and they're biting, sometimes you don't. Well, I think we kind of figured out a puzzle piece this last weekend, and we happened to be coming over some flats and there was enough fish in there that we were like, oh wow, maybe we should stop here. And all we did actually is just like randomly cast bobbers out and just let them sit. And that's how we caught a lot of the fish, was just letting bobbers just sit randomly. And we were casting, trying to hit fish that way. But I think we actually put more fish in the boat, just letting baits float around out there on the flats. And then you get like 2 or 3 like big bluegills and one of them would come over and eat it. And I think that was a cool thing, something to keep in mind during not only the fall transition period, but also in the springtime.
You are making an interesting observation, though, because a lot of times people will spend a lot of times focusing on, that deep structure. That's where those fish are moving towards in that winter pattern. And honestly, on the graphs, we were seeing fish in those areas. The thing about that, though, is those fish were not as active. They were not quite as, they were not quite as bitey. And that's not really a term. You all know what I mean, though. And ultimately, those fish that were cruising those flats were hungry. They were looking for food, and they were bitey. And so it was just about connecting with them. And so honestly, we, like you said, we did not get a million fish this weekend, right? No. But the ones that we got were, yes, is exactly what I was going to say, were quality. So do you remember our water temperatures?
Yeah, water temperatures range from low to mid 40s. I expect that right now they're probably sitting closer to that low, if not 40 degrees. by the time we get back to the water, it looks like we're supposed to, warm a little bit back up. So I'm guessing the water temp when we get back out there is going to be about the same.
But I guess we're just going to keep fishing until either we can't or until there's too many expos. And then it takes up our weekend, right? So we'll see which comes first. But either way, we'll bring you that report and let you know where we're in that process. With that being said, there's a lot of fun chatter in the comments tonight. So hello to everybody. I think Josh has been kind of saying hello along the way. But we have some really fun guests tonight. This person has a personality big enough that I guess that's how I'm referring to them. So it's just one guest, but she's super awesome. So without further ado, Sarah, thank you for being on the show this evening.
I'm like, I can bring friends. I'll find friends.
Oh my gosh. I think we do always really look forward to hanging out with you though, because it is kind of like being with friends. You're one of those people, you're one of the booths that we seek out at every expo because obviously we're interested in Lakewood products, but honestly, we come just to visit you all. So
we try to have fun. We try to make it fun and, make sure everybody's enjoying it. That way they come back.
And that's for sure. So obviously we know you, but there may be people at home who don't know you yet. Could you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am Sarah, and I am the marketing and sales director, wearer of many hats at Lakewood Products. Road Gypsy currently. It has started. So 5 months of trade show season. We just did one show and can't wait to see you guys down at the Wisconsin Fishing Expo as well. So just short version, I've been around in the industry, primarily hunting side most of my life. I was on the other side of the fence and did pro staff stuff and shot competitive archery. And originally I'm from Idaho. I'm not from here in Wisconsin. And I get asked that a lot because everybody says I talk different. So I don't know, in the comments, do I sound different than other people around here? So I get that a lot, but yeah, I've been now in Wisconsin, I think 5 years. I can't believe, I don't even know where the time has gone, and working with you guys. So it's just been a great partnership, and you meet so many amazing people. And the Midwest, as much as I miss my Idaho family in the mountains, the Midwest people are just great. So it's been a fun move.
Man, we visited Idaho, like a year and a half ago now, and it was so beautiful. I don't even know how they got you to come over here.
It was tough because you guys went to Cascade, didn't you?
Yeah, and I definitely go back again. That was so
oh my gosh. Well, and what was funny is living in Idaho, I had never ice fished. And so generally in the winter, I would ride snowmobiles. We'd go hunt mountain lions. And I had heard that Cascade was like this great ice fishing mecca, but I had no clue. I'd never done it. And so I moved clear across the country. And after being here, I think I was here like 2 years, I did a trip with some people back to Cascade. So it's like move to Wisconsin, drive the 30 hours back to Cascade to fish it. And the whole time I'm there, I'm like, why didn't I do this before? So yeah, Cascade's gorgeous. And I lived probably about 4 hours north of there, up near the Canadian border in a town called Coeur d'Alene.
Nice. Yeah, I have a college roommate that lives in Coeur d'Alene right now. So
fun.
Familiar.
Fun. No, and there's actually, if there's anybody from North Idaho listening, there is some really good ice fishing up there on some of the lakes as well. You just kind of have to know where to go, and they have been catching some pretty good perch up there. So it's kind of a little bit of a hush hush secret. Nice. But yeah, Cascade's a lot of fun and it's gorgeous, but they don't get the ice like we get out here, or hopefully we get this year. I don't know. I was interested in your guys' fishing report. At least the water temps are starting to kind of drop. And like you said, I hope it starts freezing, because here we are almost Thanksgiving, and I don't even think I've woke up to frost on my car yet.
Yeah, this is like the first or second morning that I think we've only had 2 mornings.
Just enough to be annoying and make me just that little bit late for work.
Hey, I scratched the window this morning.
That was so lucky.
Yeah, no, I'm waiting for the first one here in Green Bay, where I look out my window and I'm like, dang it, should have started the car earlier. Now I'm late.
My gosh.
So for those who don't know, go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, for those who don't know, I don't think I specified, Lakewood Products is here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So we are a Wisconsin company.
Well, okay. And I was actually just going to mention before you guys were talking about Idaho and all those experiences. And I was going to say, one of the things about those experiences that it seems like, people brought you together. People shared those experiences. When we talk about the expos, that's one of the things that we get to do. And because you guys are from Green Bay, you are local enough that you get to come to all of these things. So that's actually really super cool. But I think that is one of the best things about being at the expo, right? Because so often anglers come and they're like, man, you know what I'm struggling with is like rod storage, or like, what do I do with whatever, and I think people so often feel stuck. And your booth is full of actually a lot of these different options. And so I think that's why I like to come. I guess I will admit this. When I look at Lakewood online, I struggle to understand how my products sometimes will fit inside some of that gear. I'm a super visual person. Josh hates it, to be honest. But the nice thing is when I can come and see it and look at it, be in the booth with all these products, that really just starts to make a lot of sense.
It does. And it's funny, we went through the whole 2020 pandemic thing, and the talk in the industry was a lot of people kept thinking, well, now everybody's just going to shop online and shows are going to go away. And you nailed it. I mean, it is so good to go just interact with the people. And even if they just come by the booth and we don't even sell them something, or they don't even own a Lakewood, it's just that networking in the industry and learning techniques and just talking to the people on where they travel, where they fish, where they hunt, do all the things. And then what is nice is being able to help solve storage problems. And so like you said, people will come in and they'll be like, yeah, I have this. And what do you have for that? And actually being able to show them, because it is overwhelming. I mean, I get overwhelmed myself getting on the website because we've amazingly come up with so many SKUs and there's a bunch more in the works. But you get on there and you're like, well, okay, I have this crankbait. What case is it even going to fit into? And yes, I tell people the descriptions are amazing. The photos are amazing. All of that is there. But sometimes just to talk to somebody live, it's nice. And what they appreciate too is sometimes he is getting out of it a little bit more, but sometimes Steve is in the booth and he is literally the owner. And so people don't understand that. They'll come in and you'll be like, yeah, that's Steve, the owner. And they're like, why is the owner here? And so it just kind of goes to show the dedication and that we're all involved. And it's not just like he sits over here and, doesn't do anything. So he is kind of stepping away a little bit more, just giving us time to kind of travel. And he wants to spend more time up at the cabin and fishing himself. But it's just nice that it's just real people and having conversations.
Okay, that's a perfect segue to what I was thinking, is because my question was a little bit cheesy, like go to the expos and connect with people for your storage solutions. And it's like, okay, yeah, but this is what made me think about this, because you were talking earlier in the show about in winter, you would spend your time like in the mountains, snowmobiles, hunting mountain lions. I know nothing about that. That sounds extreme, but you were talking about Cascade and how there isn't a ton of ice out there and how slushy it is and all those things. Also a very different kind of extreme, you know? And so the thing is, like, if we are just taking ourselves out there, like our own bodies and gear and keeping warm, like, cool, fine, that's something. But when you have to bring out your delicate gear and your favorite rod with a sensitive tip or whatever, there's a million different things that we have to drag out there. We cannot be successful outdoorsmen and women or whatever, outdoors people, without this stuff. I mean, if you get out there, your auger is broken. I mean, you're not gonna get a hole, but if your rod is broken, you're not gonna catch a fish. If your bow is broken, whatever, those are all things that are just going to devastate your day. And so that's the cool thing about Lakewood products, is you guys don't sell storage solutions. You sell like peace of mind.
Yeah. Well, and you brought up a valid point. So many people have these bucket list trips, or they take time off work and they are spending their hard-earned dollar and they're traveling. And we have a lot of people who will fly to Cascade, they'll fly up into Canada, and they have to get their gear there because maybe they're not going with a guide, they're going by themselves. And that's what's amazing, is to talk to them and be like, you can put your rods in these cases and you can get on a plane and get to Cascade and all your gear is going to be okay. And it's not going to be broken. And, bow cases, same thing. The owner went to New Zealand on a hunt. I've flown all over before I even worked for the company with my bow case for tournament. archery. And so just knowing that I could show up and my stuff was going to be on and not off, and I wasn't going to have a nightmare, or beating it up, like you said, taking it in the backwoods, mountain lion hunting, elk hunting, and you're just beating the heck out of this stuff. It's just kind of nice to have a product that I know I support. And so I have no problem telling somebody, okay, if this is going to work for your solution, now it's going to protect your gear, and it's made in the USA right here.
Well, and I think you also bring up a good point. People are spending a lot of money on their gear, and they might look at something like a storage box and be like, man, that's a little bit spendy. I've already spent $150 on a rod, and I've already spent $100 on a reel. But these cases made in the USA are a one-time buy until you fill it up, right? Because you guys have
until you fill it up. That's funny.
Because then you need another one. And the reason you would get another one is because you guys offer what is truly a lifetime warranty.
Because you'll never break a rod again, and now they're all.
And some of these things, some of the stories that you've told me about how people will bring in a case that's 20 years old or 30 years old, and a zipper snapped off, and then you can like replace the zipper for them, or you can, like, if it's too damaged, you can get them a comparable unit. And I think that type of a lifetime warranty is worth the price you pay up front, because that is a one-time purchase, and like I said, till you fill it up, and I think that's totally worth it to keep all of your expensive gear safe, and to have that peace of mind that if it does need repair or replacement, you guys will get
well. And I kind of joke with people. I tell them, cry once or buy once, cry once. Yep. So it is expensive. We're not cheap. I mean, if you want cheap, I mean, you can go to Walmart, you can go to Cabela's, you can get the cheaper containers. But the stories I have heard from traveling over the last 5 years, and I mean, here's one example. We have a guy, full-time guide, down in the Nebraska area. He had the vault on his boat, was going down the highway, and it blew off. And it blew off because there was like some tornado coming through there. It's a big story, but anyways, it ends up on the road. It has 88 jigging wraps in it. And that's a lot of money when you start counting those up with all the fins and everything in them. So he doesn't realize it till he gets back to the shop. And he's like, crap, I lost it. I had to have lost on the highway. Everything's gone. He went back. You guys can actually see the video on our TikTok if anybody heads over there. He went back, and the case had been ran over, and part of it is like, road rash. And I mean, there's definite damage to the case, but he was able to recover half of his lure wrap or jigging wraps. And so I've been talking all weekend, so bear with me, people. And so he got it back. And then even the ones he couldn't recover, it wasn't that they were broken. He just couldn't find them. So they flew out of the case once it kind of probably got toppled being ran over. I've heard stories too. One gentleman at the Wisconsin Fishing Expo last year, he came up and he had just bought the greenback the year prior from us, and he had it sitting. He went to go get in the passenger side and start chucking things into his truck. He set it down, and it was kind of under that front tire. And he shut the door, was going to go back in the house, get a couple things. His wife needed to move the truck to get her car out. And she literally just got in the truck, didn't check the passenger side that was up against the garage wall, put it in reverse, and ran over the top of his greenback. And I mean, that's a $275 case. But like he said, he goes, I had close to $2,000 worth of rods in there, and nothing happened to him. So that's awesome. I mean, you hear stories like that, and it's like, I get it. I mean, especially lately, times are tough and we're all on a budget. But when you can save up and you're spending the money on the bow, I mean, bows are not cheap anymore, guns, all of this stuff, we are very confident in protecting it. And then just to touch on the limited lifetime warranty, we do call it a limited. And I explain it to people that it is generally a newer case. The older black inside cases that were made out of wood, customer service wise, if we can fix a zipper, we will for people. But if it's in too rough of shape, like you said, we'll just make sure that they can get into something else. And I explain that to people that if it's a manufacturer problem, so if it's a zipper, foam, anything like that, we'll fix it. But if you drag it behind your truck, normal wear and tear, I'm not going to cover that. And so sometimes we do have to explain that to people, because they're like, well, I used my case, and then they'll send in pictures, and I'm looking at the pictures and I'm like, oh my God, you guys have like beat the heck out of this case and you've gotten more than your money's worth, and there's no way we can fix it. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Hello, Jeremy.
It is funny because, all these stories, got ran over by a car, all these different things. And I think one of my first experiences with Lakewood, you had me stand on top of the case, and I was so nervous about breaking it. But then it's you hear all these stories, but I mean, it's almost hard to comprehend because to think of I don't know, a car just running over my rod or something like that. It's obviously devastation. And so to think that it could be protected, I mean, that's crazy to me. But I mean, I guess it's more than just rods. It's more than just tackle. I mean, there's almost something for whatever you're trying to carry. And so that's really what's awesome.
Yeah, because we got the bow cases, we got gun cases, and then we've done some outside of the box projects with mesh, and those have been a huge hit. I mean, people are using the money bags. Let's use them for an example. For everything from women use them for grocery shopping, using those for bags when you go in Aldi. I have people that use them for, beach bags, throwing soccer gear in it so it airs out and it doesn't get all moldy, musty, to your tackle boxes, to rain gear, to trapping. I have a bunch of guys that use it for trapping. They'll put all their traps and stuff in it. Some do, I'm trying to think, waterfowl stuff. So, I mean, we sell it and market it one way, but it's amazing to me that the people will grab it and run with it. Like the greenback, we've got fly fishing guys using that for fly-in trips because they can break their rods down, put everything into it. I would have never have thought of that case as a fly fishing case.
Yeah. I going back to the billfolds and the money bags, I've adopted that system to the point where now I almost have enough of the billfolds to fill 2 money bags, and I carried around my little fishing purses when I'm at the landing. And
for those of you that are new here, Josh has an addiction to plastics. We talk about this, I think, every time I'm on here.
but it's so awesome because I don't have to. The cool thing about it is I can put it's like a nesting doll of plastics, right? And I can put all the billfolds into the money bag, and then I just pull the one out that I want and unzip it, and it stays in that little box of a bag, and I can just lift it all out and bring it into the truck. I don't have to. There's not a bunch of Plano boxes flying all over the boat or just taking up space, right? I can keep it all in my corner of the boat. For normal anglers, 2 people fishing out of a 16-foot aluminum boat is usually enough room. For Emily and I, we're telling our dog to sit in a little spot because we all have a third of the boat, and that's almost not enough. So that has been paramount to my success, I think.
I mean, and Finn still has to have a spot, right?
Yeah. She has plenty of spots.
Okay. I'm don't be cutting her out.
But no, so you guys, that was the new thing a couple of years, right? A couple of years ago, you guys kind of thought outside the box, and that's been really cool. But you guys did some redesigns recently, right?
We did, and it has been a huge hit. So on our standard ice rod caddies, we had a lot of requests starting last year at the Wisconsin Ice Fishing. Oh, Matt, I forgive you for standing me up last weekend. Just side note.
Oh, Matt, you stood her up. How dare you?
Yes. But no, so we took the ice rod caddy, and the standard ones will do 41-inch rods, and we have come out with a longer version that will now go up to 46-inch rods because we have been having huge requests for that for the trout guys and everybody else, just the bigger rods. So we've done that. And then the really exciting ones is we took the mini Magnum and Emily's favorite box, the Magnum Top Shelf, and we completely redesigned those. So the guts itself are the same. I'm doing hands and drawing it like everybody can see. But the guts of it are the same. It still has the shelving system. But we had a lot of anglers with the smaller boats. They didn't want the pockets. We had a lot of people asking for backpack options. We had a lot of people asking for some salmon storage options. And so we took it and got rid of the pockets, and it has a MOLLE webbing system now on the sides and the back. And then you can just have it as that. It'll come with a shoulder strap and you use it, or you can get interchangeable pockets. You can get backpack straps. You can get a water bottle holder. Then we came up with, on the Magnum Top Shelf, a drawer system. So there's what we call just an empty drawer. So you're more than welcome to put your 3,700 utility boxes in there, or you can get a drawer. The drawers do not have lids, is the only difference between that and a utility box. So just keep that in mind. But then we have another drawer that has 3 pool noodles that are pre-sliced for you. And we call it like the rigging box. So you can put your crawler harnesses, other things on there, leaders, different things. And then we have another drawer, the flasher drawer, and it stores a bunch of flashers. And we've seen some people do some really cool modifications. They'll put like a black light little battery thing in there. So when they slide it in, then all the stuff will light up and glow for salmon fishing. It's been a big hit with the redesign, and it's just making it much more versatile.
Wow, I've never actually thought about like really modding my stuff like that, to be honest. Like, because, okay, I guess that sounds dumb. When it comes out of my mouth, I'm like, why wouldn't I have done that? Well, because it's so many of these products come like so ready to use that, okay, this is old and it's probably not even on the website anymore. But one of my first things when I found that Top Shelf is I transitioned my old tackle box to the new one. And like,
it's still on our YouTube.
Oh, okay. But it's so funny because all of the stuff like just goes, and it's like that easy. And that sounds dumb to say, but sometimes when you are reorganizing like your tackle, you're trying to keep track of everything. You're like, where does this go? Where do I have to fit this in? What 2 things do I have to jam together? And I never had that happen. And so, like I said, like some of the stuff, all the stuff just comes so ready to use, so easy to move into, that like, gosh, you can almost forget that you might want to mod it up.
Well, and I think he was on there. I think I saw the comments. We got a couple other pro staffers, Scotty and Remy, who took the mini Magnum and they actually modified them for shuttles for ice fishing. Mm-hmm. And so you'll see those at the ice shows. So if you guys are around, we do have a couple samples up so people can kind of see them. So it's pretty cool because people grab them and like, I'm like you, I think they're great. And then it's like, you see kind of what people do with them and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Can I answer a comment?
I was going to say there's actually a few that are ice fishing related. So start wherever you want to start.
Oh, let me find it here. Where did it go? So Ryan said we should make a rod locker that you can fix to an ATV rack or UTV bed. And Ryan, we did. So you definitely want to check out the greenback. And yes, I'm publicly saying this out loud, so just everybody bear with me. But our cases with the ABS, when we're talking about modifying in them and stuff, because of the ABS plastic, you can actually take a drill. And if you heat the drill bit, you can drill through the ABS and it'll keep it from cracking and it'll help melt the fabric back into kind of that hole. And so we have had guys take the greenback, drill through the bottom, and then it's permanently affixed to their ATV, UTV, or however you'd like to use that. So that's kind of what that case was designed for, because it is a very big case. It's not a hole hopping case. It's designed just to store everything. And the top compartment comes together. You can padlock it with a TSA lock. So if you happen to go into the bar at night, once it's attached to your ATV, you can secure your case as well. So all your stuff's protected. So definitely check that out, Ryan.
That's a good point. I forget that it doesn't take just flying to lock up your stuff.
Yes. Yeah, because you come off the ice and you want to go hang out and maybe you're on your ATV with your rod stuff. I mean, you want to be able to lock that. So all of our stuff does lock. Like a couple cases, you'll be able to tell on the pockets, the zippers don't come together with the locking one, but any major compartment that's going to hold a lot of the higher dollar items, we try to make sure the zippers will lock on those compartments. Gun cases, bow cases, all that stuff. Should I keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ryan was good. And then there was an Anthony, what you got for tip ups, LOL. So we have a really cool case. This is one that we made Emily test the very first time I met her at one of the shows. So the ice pack, if you check out the ice pack, it is designed for tip ups. and it is the perfect height for once you put your tip ups in there. You can throw it over your shoulder, hike out, do what you need to do. It holds a couple rods and all your other supplies. When you set it down, it is the perfect height to sit on for jigging and doing your fishing. So definitely check that one out. And then speaking of modifications, Pat Calmerton has modified his immensely and has overloaded that thing. He's taken out the insides and he's made it with the round tip ups will fit kind of down in there. He gets his flasher down in there. I mean, it's kind of crazy. So there's that one as well. And then I'm trying to think. Oh, here, Scott has another good story. I own 2 rod lockers and 1 greenback, and my greenback got drugged 3/4 of a mile across early ice on red with no harm done to any of my rods. We love that stuff.
That is actually crazy.
And then Josh says, ice fishing plastics holder next on the Lakewood horizon. Yes, it's been talked about. We're just trying to not be like everybody else because it's kind of a saturated market with binders and different little storage options. So we are kind of working on some different things. We'll just say that. That's about all I can say.
Gosh, my suggestion is to go buy 1,000 6-inch clear plastic bait bags and put them in the money bags. Because if you don't have enough plastics to fill up those bags, then you don't have enough plastics.
You're not cool like Josh, and you need to work on your addiction. So yeah, but we are talking about some things, but I've also had a lot of guys take those and they'll use the billfold as it is. I know it's bigger, but they'll just cram a bunch of stuff in there with the hook. They'll hook it to their backpack or whatever they're going and using, and they kind of make it work as well. But there are some talks because we get a lot of conversation going from our panfish guys, you guys included. So we'll see. There's a couple things, and I'll probably be talking to Josh and Emily a little bit more down in Wisconsin. So we'll see.
We'll tell everybody at home when Sarah's not here.
No, it's confidential till I catch. You know, we got to do the whole new product thing. And then Troy, Sarah, will you be at the St. Paul Ice Show? Yes, we will be at the St. Paul Ice Show. And more importantly, we will be at the Wisconsin Ice Fishing Expo, which is actually our favorite. And we are very excited about the new venue this year. For all of you guys who did make it last year, it was amazing, a little chaotic because it was such an amazing turnout. And that's what I love is just everybody came out this year. I just can't wait. Like, that's just like one of my favorite shows. So I can't wait for that one.
Well, I think one of my favorite things about seeing you guys at the Ice Fishing Expo, you know, Emily mentioned way back earlier in the show that she is like a hands-on person. Like, she needs to be in with the product so that she can be able to visualize what goes into it. And I really think that in this instance, I really agree with her. I think that your guys' booth is almost like an opposite of everybody else's booth, because everybody else kind of like quarantines themselves off with a table in front, products forward, and they hide behind it and, you know, give their spiel. You guys open your booth up and it's completely walk around. You can, you know, your whole group of buddies can be in there. You can chat with Sarah. You can chat with Steve if he's there, you know, like Remy might be there. So like, you know, you can chat with all of these people, interact. They can walk you through all of the systems. And I just think it's a really fun booth to be in because there's always so much energy around it. You know, there's always your guys' products lend for a lot of brain stimulation. I think, you know, there's so many possibilities with these things. Like, you know, you guys provide a great platform for, like you said, like, oh, I can modify this, or I can fit it to this way, and this and that. And like you said, you're saying like, oh, I shouldn't be telling people this, but you can drill holes in it and attach it to your thing. And like, we tell people like that's something that's possible with this case. And it's nice that somebody is like a company is telling their customers, make this your own. And we're still going to support you with it.
Yep. And keep in mind, because I just full disclosure, because you know how the public can be sometimes, is if you drill a hole into your greenback to attach to your ATV, don't email me after the season and tell me that your case has a hole in it and it's a manufacturer defect, because We do look at pictures, and we're pretty good at telling what the true story is. And if you do that, it doesn't void like the zipper warranty, and it doesn't void that portion, but we're not going to give you a new box because you drilled a hole in it. And if you don't heat your drill bit and you crack the ABS, well, then that's going to be another problem as well. So just please note, like, do it with, caution. And if you have questions, call first. That's what's amazing is I'm generally the person who'll answer the phone unless I'm not there. Then leave a voicemail. I try to call people back in between shows and being on the road. Like, I just got back from Sioux Falls yesterday. So today I spent the day kind of returning emails and calls. So we try to kind of make sure people understand before they just go diving into projects and end up with a bigger problem. We are very excited for the shows. I just talking to everybody again. And like you said, we have fun in there. We do giveaways. It's been copied now. So I guess I can't totally say we have the coolest koozie out there at the shows for your beers as you're walking around. But it has been known that people will literally come there to get their koozie. And there have been fights when I'm down to the last few because everybody wants them because they are pretty cool. But the giveaway, I mean, you can come by the booth and we always give a case away at every show. We just did for Sioux Falls. And then can I talk about Free Gear Fridays?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So just a little bit of tea for everybody out there. We have like our Free Gear Fridays going on. What happens, they start on Friday, they go through Sunday, and it happens every Friday, basically through the month of November to show how grateful we are for our Lakewood family. And then it ends December 13th. And we will be ending December 13th with an amazing giveaway from Striker and Lakewood. So you will end up with a couple rod cases, a bunch of other storage, some swag. You get a full Apex ice suit from Striker. So it's a very, very cool prize. And we'll be doing a lot of stuff on that. Those of you that are
everything but the ice.
Yeah.
Everything but the ice. But if I can figure out how to put ice out there, I will do it. Trust me. But yes, you'll be ready to go. You're just going to need some boots and some of your tackle, but we're going to give you storage and a full suit to go do it. And then if there's anybody that's hunting related, this Friday, we teamed up with Vortex, another Wisconsin company, and this prize package is over $2,700. So you're getting like some Vortex binos, some swag, and you're getting a gun case plus a $250 gift card from us. So just lots of people
who want to keep up with the Free Gear Fridays. Like, how do they find out like what's included? How do they find out what Fridays? Where do they go?
You got to go to the social medias. Definitely follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And I always tell people, due to the lovely algorithms, turn on notifications. And you can turn them off. Like if you get annoyed with Sarah at Lakewood after Christmas and you don't want to like deal with me anymore, just remove your notifications. But this time of year, turn them on because then you will get a notification on Instagram or Facebook that we posted something. And generally what we post this time of year is pretty rad stuff. We've got our Black Friday sale going on. Some of our dealers are running some cool stuff. And I mean, just turn it on. The other thing too is go to our website, lakewoodproducts.com, and sign up for our email newsletter. Mm-hmm. I bombard people a lot this time of year, but then the rest of the year, we're not one of those companies that sends you emails every day and we don't sell your information. So just go sign up because when I email you, it's important.
That's true.
Yes, it's always good stuff. And it's generally because we're trying to give stuff away or we're giving people a discount or a special offer. And then our full trade show schedule is listed at the bottom of our homepage on the website because we will be at the Wisconsin Open Water Show in February. Is it February?
Yep.
I don't know. I get on the road and I just go.
The calendar has a place and the map takes me.
Well, yes. And I know that we're here talking about the Wisconsin Ice Fishing Show and everything that is fishing and ice fishing, but I really do think it is important to note that with deer hunting coming up and Christmas coming up, you guys have a whole line of archery cases, gun cases, and I mean, when you're talking about expensive things, those firearm cases are something that I guess I didn't realize what I was missing out until I bought one. Right? You know, I the first time I used a drop-in case, you'll be like, why isn't every bow case this style of case? Like,
Yeah.
I have been Velcroing and unvelcroing a stupid horizontal plano case for like over a decade, and you're just trying to gently peel the Velcro off and trying to be quiet, and now I can just keep it mostly unzippered on the drive to my spot. Undo a little bit of a zipper, undo a little bit of zipper, and just pull it right out. And then you're ready to go. Your quiver can fit on there. Everything is just ready to go. You can pull your bow out. Same thing with the gun case. I keep my gun case in there. It travels awesome. You guys have a couple color options, which are great. So I just really think if you guys are out there, I posted the link to the website earlier at the beginning of the podcast. I can do it again at the end. Just go check out all the cases, because this is a great time of year with all the giveaways going on. I know you have some discounts, I think, going on.
Yes, if you guys actually visit the Crappie Junction people, they have a great discount that will give you 20% off. And so I'm sure Josh will link that somewhere. He'll explain where. But yeah, definitely go do that. They've got that until November 30th. And then they also are able to offer all of their followers a 10% discount the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I'm going to get everybody Lakewood cases for Christmas.
Oh, thanks.
Only my outdoor family members will be happy.
Yeah, somebody gets a bow case and they're like, what am I supposed to do with this? You're like, put your groceries in it. It goes in the back of your car. It's fine. It keeps your eggs safe. Eggs are expensive nowadays. We got to
Yeah, that's true.
They're not going to break.
Okay, so I do have to ask, I guess, the people at home, because I'm interested in people's. Does anybody have a favorite case, a favorite item? I don't know. I feel like everybody has a favorite that they're dying to share about, and I feel like there's too much to actually talk about everything in this episode. Even if we brought up the website and tried to go through it all, we couldn't.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to hear from people at home. If you have a favorite or even a top one or two or whatever, it doesn't have to be just one, but drop that in the comment section because I am interested. But we do actually have a different comment before we get to those. So, or I meant a question. So Nolan is asking if the jerseys are still available. Are you talking about these? Because I do love these.
So we get asked that question a lot. Unfortunately, they are for our ambassadors and pro staff. That is what sets them apart. And they are able to order them through the forms that are in our little private Facebook group for that. And then to kind of add to that conversation, because I get this year round, like people want to know, how do they join the team? I'm kind of a little bit of a drill sergeant on things. And so I open up applications end of September, beginning of October, and I try to have them closed by October 15th. I know it's a tight deadline, but again, we're a small company, and so I wear many hats, and we're also going into Q4. For those of you who do not understand Q4 with the retail world, it is the busiest time of the year. And Craig, it was good to see you this weekend, my friend. And so trying to do that as well as get ready for shows, 5 months of on the shows, there's just a lot of moving parts. And I wish we could hire more people because that would make my life easier. But back to that, I do a really tight deadline because this year alone, I received over 400 applications. And I am the only one who goes through those. And then I narrow them down to we try to do around 50. And then I have to take them to Steve, the owner, for approval. So it's very time consuming. And I end up bringing the applications home and I'm reading them after hours and trying to maintain everything. And then as Josh and Emily know, I am just now getting around to getting contracts and everything out. And here we are already November and I've had it closed since October 15th. So for anybody who's interested in the future, you got to follow the social media and it's just, you just got to do it. And you just got to pay attention because I'm really strict on those deadlines. And it's not to be I was going to say the A word, but I don't think I can say a-hole on here. It's not to be a Beth Dutton. Okay. I'm not trying to be a Beth Dutton. It's just that I have to do that for my sanity. So, Somebody's trying to sign up for email notifications. Yes, there is a link. Go all the way to the bottom and it says sign up and join the email thing. It should be down, I think, past the trade show schedule as well.
Oh, on the homepage. Let's
On
look
the
at
home,
it.
yeah, on the homepage.
Josh might even drop a.
Yeah. So
Josh
if
was looking.
you go to the homepage, Troy, you go all the way to the bottom. There's a big red subscribe button. It says
Here,
be in
put
the
this up
know.
on the screen. Show
Yeah.
them. Look at this. We can hold tight in 2
See,
seconds.
it's just so easy. Josh can do it. Josh can just do anything. He'll just put it right up.
Look at this. Bada bing, bada boom.
Oh, no way. Okay, that's cool.
Wait, start at
That's
the top.
cool.
This is just the main.
Well, yeah. So this is the homepage. So this is what you get. Here's Enter Free Gear Friday right at the top. So first stop, Free Gear Friday. Come back to the homepage. Scroll down. You can see some cool adventures. Here's the trade show schedule.
Keep going.
Huge. And then right at the bottom, right above the skirt here.
He said he found it. At this point, I would hope so. Hit us up. We'll walk you through.
So there you go.
Cool.
Look at how easy that was.
Yeah.
Okay, so did anybody tell us their favorite cases? Like, I want to hear all of this.
No.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, Scotty said the mini sidekick is great to jump between boats.
That is actually really good. Yeah, with the billfold for extra. So the mini sidekick actually was the best seller at this year's Bassmaster Classic. And people said that for multiple reasons. And Emily, you forgot to help me tell the people that some of our stuff floats.
Okay. Oh, Sarah, you know what? When we were talking about the vault is when I was thinking about that, but that's the one that has the mesh bottom. And so it's the one that that's what I thought about it.
Yeah, don't throw the ones with mesh on the bottom in, and that's just common sense because like it will take the water and it won't float.
Okay, but as far as there's a reason for that too, right? It's not that you guys just cheaped out, it's that because the vault, right? Obviously, you put your lures in and all of that. If everything is wet, if you are trapping moisture in there, all of your hooks are going to rust out. That's going to be a disaster. So that vented bottom is on purpose, and that is awesome. And so we all love and appreciate that. But like you are saying, so many of these other cases, especially when they are sealed. And so we're talking about the rod cases. We're talking about, a lot of this tackle storage. We're talking about all of these sealed things. They will float. That is crazy. That blows my mind.
Yeah, and they're not like 100% waterproof, and we don't make them that way for what Emily said. We don't want the stuff rusting. And so the bigger cases, by not having them airtight, it actually allows a little bit of airflow in there. You wouldn't think about it, but it does with that zipper. Plus, who's trying to get like a snack out of their like Arctic cooler, Yeti cooler, whatever, and you can't get that stupid waterproof zipper open and then you're getting angry? You don't want to do that when you're trying to get tackle out. So that's why we don't waterproof them. But the mini sidekick, the kayak anglers love that as well as the co-anglers. It can go under your feet, put your feet on it, and pack it around. It's just a great all-around box for sure.
I'm gonna go with a dark horse here, and many may contradict me on this, but one of my favorites is the lure wallet. I think it's an unsung hero from the lineup. It's really unassuming. It's like just a little folding wallet with Velcro on it, has foam on the inside, some plastic protectors to keep your hooks from hooking the actual closure. And I really think that that's such a versatile piece of storage. You can throw it into a jacket pocket. You can, the smaller one you can throw into a jacket pocket. You make one that's the size of a notebook that you can put some of your larger stuff in. I honestly like it for things like stinger hooks and for some of the snell rigging that we do, and some of those other things that you always have in your tackle box that like always ends up in a mess. I can keep in those lure wallets and throw it in like one of the compartments in the tackle box, or like I said, or a jacket, or somewhere in the boat that I can keep it organized. You guys even thought to put a little label on this, a little label holder on the side, so I can label it and know which ones are which. And I just really think that's a great starting point. If you're like looking at stuff and you're like, oh, let's test out, see if I like this stuff, see what the quality is like. I think this is a really cool product that like you try it out and you're going to be like, well, now I have this, so now I gotta have a tackle box to put it in.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole rabbit hole, I think.
No, I think you're so right. It's funny, like people kind of overlook that one. And I don't know if it's that they don't understand it. It is kind of a harder one to show, and it does online, you know, when you just go to the website. So it is nice for people to be able to see that at an actual show in person. But yeah, the 3 different sizes on that, it's a good price point. And again, the middle portion he's talking about with foam that you hook everything into, we made it where there's Velcro on there. So over time, if that wears out, yeah, shoot us an email and we send you another one. And that way you're not going to have an investment that's not working for you long term.
Yep.
If we're divulging our favorites, I guess I'll go. And I guess because I was sitting here thinking about it and I had an answer all prepared, and then I was like, no, that's not it. So
No.
here's why. Because what I should say, my actual favorite is just the ice rod caddy. And honestly, that's, like you said, kind of unassuming, you know, like, but because I have so much faith in keeping my rods safe and it is so easy to use, I kind of just toss them in there. And like you said, everything is drop-in style, that you just close it up. I put it at the bottom of my sled. It's one of those things that I can just, I don't actually appreciate it enough. Because like we were saying, if you don't have your rods, you are SOL, right?
Yeah. And you don't worry about it. You just throw everything else on your sled and go.
Yeah. So I guess I should say that. But I guess my original answer was going to be just the Magnum Top Shelf, because I love that case. It is no secret. I just, all the boxes you can fit, all the pockets, that top shelf. I love having things handy. So those top shelves, I have them all arranged. I should take people on a tour someday.
You're going to
That's
have to get a
video
new one because you're going to love the drawers. I can already tell you.
Well, and the pockets, because now, Emily, instead of just loading up 2 pockets, you can load up multiple and then just re-Velcro them on and swap out depending on the season. And
see, this is up my alley. But I mean, it's that top shelf. It's that top shelf that does it, and everything else is so functional. And so when all of that gets to be gravy, it's like, man, that is just so cool. So I don't know. It feels weird to rave about like a tackle box, but that's
well, and I think you brought up a good point that I really want to touch here. We talked a lot about the durability of these boxes, and you said that the ice rod caddy is one of your favorites. And I think if you take a second to think about it, it's really a nice thing to have a symmetrically square box that will fit in your sled, that won't crush your rods, and you can stack your stuff on it. So not only are you protecting the gear that's inside of it and you're keeping that gear in your sled, you're also being able to organize the rest of your gear in your sled in such a way that it's less likely to fall out as you're pulling it out. So not only is Lakewood keeping the interior of your stuff safe, it's also keeping the rest of the stuff that you pile on top of it a little bit more secure as well, because it has a nice base. So I think that's something that I like to tell people is like, think of organization with Lakewood outside of just the box, just how you fish. It makes it just so much more organized.
Now you guys are making me change my mind on my favorite. And now I'm like, oh. I mean, personally, it was the bow case just from my hunting background. I fish just for fun, and I kind of don't know what I'm doing still. And I just go with people who do, and I keep it fun and it's good times. But now, like you're talking about all of that, like the vault for me is kind of one that I have seen people evolve, and it's versatile like year round. So originally when that box was designed, in my head, I was like, oh, it's ice fishing stuff, you know, your jig and wraps, your ice fishing spoons, whatever. But now I see these guys take and they'll get extra dividers from us, or they can get a hold of a dealer and the dealer will contact us for extra dividers. And you can actually take half the vault, make it spoons, half the vault, you can do some of your like little jig and wraps, smaller crankbaits, anything you're using. And then they'll actually remove the dividers and put their panfish plastics in there. So everything's like all in one little location. And then you just dump it in your boat compartment for open water, because it's the footprint of the 3700. So that one's kind of cool, but I'm still a bow case fan. I know this is fishing and we're talking ice fishing show, but it's the bow case for this girl.
Okay. Well, Well, and funny story or a funny question, I guess, because we're talking fishing, does it fit like a bow fishing rig?
It actually does. So we do have a couple people that are using the double bow case for the bow fishing rigs because they can put the bow fishing rigs in, and instead of running 2 bows, they'll actually run 3. And then when you close it, they use it as a seat on their boat because they can actually sit on it. So customers and stuff like that. So we do have some. Great question with that. And I don't know if we have anybody watching what saltwater. The cases will hold up in saltwater. We have the Magnum Top Shelf that Emily's favorite case is. And we've had a guy down in Southern Florida. He's out at least 284 to 300 days a year. And he has had that sitting in the sun, the salt, the elements, and he has not had any issues with it. It is just now starting to fade, and we're on year 3, and all the zippers still work. So that's always a fun little thing.
That is cool.
Oh, we appreciate you too, Shane. Everybody hit Shane up if you ever need anything as well. And then I thought somebody said I had to slow down for my sanity.
Yeah, they did say that, but like,
oh, it's Chris. Yeah, he knows that.
The expos I go to.
Yeah, I mean, between my work life and personal life, I'm like go all the time. So that's just who I am. I'll slow down one day. I guess when I'm like 6 feet under, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's like a way long ways away.
Yes, but no. Do we have any other like favorites?
I saw way up in the comments somebody had said the vault. There was actually a bunch of shout outs for the lure wallet. That might have been because Josh was talking about it. But that's fair. And I know that there's going to be other people commenting with a few other favorites along the way, especially once they hear what we like, because then they're all going to love that too.
No, I do think Josh nailed it. I mean, that lure wallet, you guys need to go check that out. Use Josh's link and just go check that out and ask him if you've got any questions, because it's a great little storage item.
Oh, that's nice that you said that, because he forgot to post it. So now it's in the comments. Now people can click that.
Oh, it was in the comments earlier, but now it's in there twice.
Now it's in there.
Perfect.
Perfect. All right. So I think that typically we talk for like 50 minutes and then I start wrapping things up. And I'm going to be honest with you, I like literally got so distracted that I didn't even realize what time it was. So to the
oh my gosh, we've been going an hour. I'm sorry. And thank you to everybody that's still here.
There's no end time. We're not going to cut you off, but we did have so much fun that we all literally lost track of time. So this has been awesome. The problem is that we could probably spend a whole nother hour without even blinking an eye, because there's so much great stuff to talk about. But for people who want to do that, I guess that is why we have the expos, is that you can come in person, talk to us, talk to Sarah, talk to whoever it is.
Spend 10 hours there. I'm sure Sarah would love it. She'll put you to work.
Yeah, I will. I'll bring things from the fridge.
I will.
But we really appreciate you being here. I guess the one thing I should ask before I sum this up too fast, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you were hoping to talk about that we should mention real quick?
No, I can't believe we've been talking for an hour. So thank you everybody for like sticking it in there, and hopefully nobody's sleeping. But no, it was good conversation. And of course, always reach out to either myself, any of my pro staff. Josh and Emily are a wealth of information. Come see us at the expos. I mean, we're here to help and make sure everybody gets their questions answered. And don't forget to enter the Free Gear Fridays. Good stuff.
That is good stuff. And thank you so much for being here with us to talk about all of this, because we really learned a lot and had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for having me. I always like talking to my beautiful friends.
And to the people at home, thank you guys for being here as well, because that is always a big part of the fun. And hopefully, if we don't see you at the expo, then we'll see you on next week's edition of The Night Bite.
Night, everybody.
Bye, friends.